when it came time to launch your own company, whether it is just realizing the workload involved or how to get clients, or what experiences do you have?
It's an interesting question. The thing is that in 2020, I'm not entirely convinced that company is necessary for artists, especially because, again, in the comments or emails, people send hey, I just launched the studio, or hey, I want to launch a studio.
Mm-hmm.
Why exactly do you need that for? And in my case, so I was sitting in my company that I got my first job in, and finance evolution happened slowly in there, but then suddenly I had an offer from NVIDIA.
Mm-hmm.
They offered like a good role, good money, but I told in my company that, hey, these guys are paying that much. If you kind of appreciate what I do here, you have to do something. So they matched, and I stayed there. But then I met my business partner, and I started to freelance for him. He already owned another company by then. And I was making good money and all that stuff. And then at some point I realized that my main work kind of dragging me down, and it makes no sense. I better dedicate more time for that side of things. And I did. I was a contracted supplier for my business partner. I was kind of individual, and that was working fine. But then we decided, like, listen, maybe we should merge our competencies, if that makes sense, and build something bigger, which we did. And here we go. We're growing, and yeah, who knows where it may go from here. But for artists individually, my say would be, well, you always need that business partner, because as an artist you can't do any of that bureaucracy, running a company, taxes, mm-hmm. like bookkeeping. That's something you will fail. Just trust me. Because it's a tedious process that needs 100% concentration. It has to be sorted by someone else, so you can't do that already. So you have to decide, either you're a businessman or you're an artist. For me personally, I'm an artist, I'm not a businessman. So I'm just lucky to have these people around me who are businessmen.
I found that's always been the best kind of partnership, where you have, let's say, a producer and an artist, because you essentially got someone who is really grounded in the business side, but they need that creative, because the creative person is really the product. They're the one offering the service. But
totally.
At the same time, like, that creative, at least, like, because I've always been obsessed with seeing how studios run and different benefits and which ones work, which ones don't. And I've always found that that's always the best partnership, is one with the business and one with the art, because the artist is always going to say, we can do all this, it's going to be amazing. And having that other person, the realist, who's like, well, this is what's in the budget. It's kind of keeping them a bit more grounded, but the two are kind of symbiotic, in the sense that it means that one person can want to recreate the world and do all these amazing things, but
you're just describing myself.
But that's just it, like that. Because for me, I always think back to forensic films, like Chris Bond and Ken Zorniak. Ken was the producer and Chris was the creative. But that's just it. Like, since then, I've seen it so many times over. And as you mentioned, like, I think it's important, because maybe if the creative is always, like, nothing's ever finished, there's more, I can do to it, or doing too much that it is never kind of sees the light of day. Having someone with the schedule and the spreadsheet, the two together kind of make things work really well. So I think that, finding that person who maybe is kind of fills in the gaps with the areas that you're not as passionate about. It means that they might be really passionate about the business side or whatever it might be. And the two of you together, kind of like an artist and a programmer or whatever combination, it means that together you're unstoppable. But by yourselves, you've got all this talent in different areas, but when you kind of interlink, then the sky's the limit.
Yeah, that's the only way of building the company, because I am exactly that dude that you described. Oh yeah, we can do bloody everything, and then you're spending weeks on one shot and you have 40 more to do. Oh yeah, I've been there. I'm doing it sometimes. Like perfectionism kills me.
It's interesting what you said, because I feel like I've got a different view on creative versus business. I feel like I'm an artist, but I also respect business and coding and all these other things that I don't necessarily self-identify with, but I have interest in those. But that's one thing too, that a lot of the time I do kind of wear the producer hat when it comes to schedules and budget, because like I'll always look at what can be done more on what can be done in the time frame that we have. And
well, I'm doing that as well, but that's right. Just senior artists kind of responsibility. It's fine. It's not right. Completely business.
No, you're right, because it's essentially the 30,000 foot view, or being in the trenches, because one's doing but the other one is operating. You know, you got to have, someone needs to have the foresight to see where the project's going, whereas a lot of more junior or mid-level artists, they're like, you know, give me something to animate, I'm ready. But you got to have someone looking at, well, you're animating, you're modeling, you're doing all this, like how do we actually make a finished piece?